Tonight's show, we're talking about the aspects of self, and I'm answering all your questions with live readings coming up right now.
Does it look like a Devin or David?
David is his name. It's been so spot on.
And I don't know if you put it in the side of your end table or not. You saw like there's something in your end table that you this too.
My God, you're crazy, girl.
Yeah, he's saying hi, baby girl. He's saying hi, baby girl. And is there significance with like image of a rose at all?
He would
Does that make
always
sense?
give me a rose.
Okay, so he's like doing one now. He's saying to work with some sort of like vibrational machine. Somehow a way to work with like machinery and vibration.
I work with horses, and there's actually some magnawave therapy that's vibrational.
Tell me something that he told you that came true.
Everything he's predicted has come true.
I just don't see it.
And he doesn't have cancer?
It's very possible.
Allow yourself to hear yourself. Allow yourself to feel yourself. Allow yourself to talk to yourself. Allow yourself to respond to yourself. That's looking within.
You might encounter negative aspects of self, but that's a freeing experience.
Because then they start realizing that they can't think outside the box. And I say, if you can't think outside the box, then who's the stupid one here?
There's a reason why we're on this timeline. There's a reason why we've chosen to be in this awakening. I say we're going through a spiritual awakening.
So I don't just come on here and talk bullshit and repeat. I'm living this stuff.
In harmony with nature, in a mystical adventure, we're building on a culture.
Happy Thursday Night Live, everybody. Welcome to the Cruisyverse. It's a full Hunter moon, or Hunter full moon in Aries tonight. Actually starts at 7:27, I think, precisely the time. So maybe I'll get you all out of here before then so you can take a look at it. I'm sure it'll be there all night. You should be great. Or just look out the window. Let's see who's chatty Cathy in the room. Okay. And it's been, actually, before I get into that, it's been an interesting week. And, you know, I've been saying for the past couple weeks, you guys, about bringing that balance, about looking at setting boundaries with relationships and circumstances and situationships. And here we are this week. You're starting to see it come to manifestation. You're starting to see these relationships break away. And you're starting to see these circumstances and situationships break away and leave. And this fragmentation of things, which is not a bad thing. It's a necessary thing. It's leaving space for the good and the new that needs to come in. So there should not be any type of resentment about this. There should not be any type of remorse about these things. It's all about growth and expansion. So we could have our cake and eat it too in this sense. We can move on and still appreciate those relationships that once there. But some of them, I think at this time, are probably coming to an end for a permanent, for real, for a long period of time. So, and those of you who are new, welcome. Let's see who's chatting in the room here. I'm just going to call up the names and go through them. Brenda, Noel Way, our wonderful modded Nina is in the room. So if you have any questions, let me just pull this overlays down now. If you have any questions about booking a reading or booking a question, it's $15 for a card pull, $20 for one question, $30 for two questions, and $40 for a live video here with me one-on-one. The PayPal and Venmo links are in the description. If you're wanting to do a live video, you can only do it through Venmo because that's where I can actually reply back to you and give you the link to call in. Okay, so but Nina can help you in the chat if you have any questions about doing so or any issues doing so. Dana Michael, Adam Turner, what's up, my Aquarius brother? You're welcome in. Good to see you. Melanie Brockington, I hope I said that correctly. The text is like this small for me on my screen, but welcome Melanie. Aquila Pan, hello. Stephanie Prrrr, that's what I'm going to say. Debbie Darby Mayberry. Geez, this energy has got me like stumbling upon my words. I better straighten that out before I get into my chat. Lisa Cruz, hey, Iggy, can't you see? Thanks a lot, man. Yeah, Leading Out Loud was decent. You know, Christopher and I, that's our normal conversations. We were kind of reserved a little bit. We're going to kind of expand more into that in the next coming episode, so stay tuned. We have a lot of great juicy topics and kind of breaking the mold of what we discuss because we have no boundaries any longer. So we can just wing it. So lovingly loving you. Welcome. Good to see you. Sydney Aaron, hello. Chrissy Rozzi, Ali Taylor, beautiful. Good to see you. Daryl Blankenship, brother. This brother creating some mischief. You Iggy together are going to be very mischievous. I need it. We like it for today. Noel Way, good to see you. David Cruz, Rhonda. Good to see you, Dream Juggler, Colette Love, Jennifer Cruz, my maker's in the room. What's up? Rebecca D, Erica MOD, Rocky, Rashida, good to see you. Cam 2. That's an interesting name. Cam 2. I like that. But Bindi 9790, good to see you. Tommy Garassi, Tara Vienna, and everybody else is watching just to save time. Welcome aboard. I can't see those who are watching because, of course, I can only see who's chatting. So those of you watching, welcome aboard. Those of you who are new, this is how it works tonight. I will start with the collective read. I utilize tarot. I don't necessarily need tarot because I'm a psychic medium, but it's great for times of collective reads as such. And then I'll get into the topic, the two aspects of self. What does that mean? I say it all the time in my reads. You want to follow the two aspects of self. And so I'm actually going to break that down. And I've mentioned it before in many of my other topics. And so I'm going to put them all together to make sense of it in totality. And so it'll be a wonderful topic. And then we'll have a wonderful message from Nina. Then we will get into the live readings. So first come, first serve, get them in now. And then we'll have a wonderful sound bathing by Lafayette again. So we'll have a nice 5-minute sound bathing, and then we'll close. And that'll be the end of the show. And you go outside and look at your full moon over there. All right, so let's get into this collective read, shall we? Let's shuffle these cards. It's still heavy. For me with full moons, I always get headaches. So I'm kind of feeling a little bit of that headache, but it's not as bad as usually it is. So that's good. Okay. Let's shuffle these cards, and the cards are kind of a little flustery too, as even my speech, even Christopher's stumbling upon words today, so I'm going to try to make sure I go slowly this time. I tend to be very fiery, even though I'm an air sign. How does that work? I'm very fiery, but I'm an air, all air, massive air in my chart. Okay, air and earth, actually. Okay, let's see here. Okay, let me get some oracle. Where are my oracles? Here they are. I almost lost those oracle cards. All right, well, this is going to be, and we'll kind of do the next week ahead. And I'm going to kind of do a forecast for the week ahead. I always tend to do that because it's week to week. I don't want to duplicate what I say on Leading Out Loud from this morning. I kind of want to keep that fresh too, because we've kind of been hearing the same thing. This is going to be more advice for the coming week ahead for those who are in the room. Okay. Gotcha. All right. Okay. First thing, guys, this week, moving ahead, we know things have been, kind of fragmented right now. We know things have been separating. We know that you've been breaking down from ideas and thoughts and people. That's a wonderful thing. But right now, it's really time to stop being so overly generous to people. Stop giving your time so much to people. It's time this week to be very focused on limiting the time you're spending on other people and other things that don't really benefit you right now. Don't overextend yourself this week with projects. Don't lend an ear to someone who just wants to babble away with their problems. You need to, guys, reserve your time and reserve your energy on these things right now. Because right now it's time to create a new structure, a new paradigm, a new rhythm for your life, because things are changing. Things are moving. You guys can see it. You guys can smell it, you can taste it, you can touch it, right? And so right now it's time to be methodical of what your newer paradigm is, creating new structure. When we remove things from our life, then we no longer have that same rhythm any longer. So we have something that's going to fill that space, or just even leaving a clear space of the things that you've let go of. And sometimes it takes a rebalancing, a refocusing to understand how to really position yourself again, now that you've removed those components from your life. So when we're talking about restructuring and being kind of a little more methodical about what you're doing in your life, it could simplistically mean that you're actually getting yourself on a better diet. You're getting yourself in a workout routine. Maybe you're scheduling yourself to go hiking, or you're scheduling some time for yourself to read the book, or doing things that are more practical for yourself right now to create a better security and foundation, both emotionally, spiritually, and intellectually, so you can kind of get into this newer rhythm. So a lot of times we can clear out people, and we have that empty space there, and sometimes it does need to be filled with something, but not always does it. Or we don't always have to be filling those spaces right away. Sometimes it just needs to have that kind of fresh air, that empty air, in our lives, so we can really hear ourselves talk, hear ourselves think, hear ourselves what our intuition is saying, because we no longer have the distortion around. We no longer have that person, Chatty Cathy, in our minds, right? And Chatty Cathy in our ears, and okay, I can't, oh my gosh. And then when the time you're done with hearing all that, then you go to rest and go to bed, you watch something, go to sleep. There's been no time centered around self or centered around down the foundation of self. So now that you're kind of rebalancing, repositioning, it's time to create that kind of new rhythm for you and what that might be. And it does, I would say, require that you start, using structure, like looking at ways to be structured in things and methodical a little bit right now. That's going to create a better foundation. Once you do this, then you can kind of extend from there and be more kind of free-spirited in the weeks ahead. But right now, primarily, it's time to really focus on that structure. And with the Four of Swords coming in the third position as well, it really is saying that it's time to relax a little bit. I mean, and that sounds very cliche. It sounds very easier said than done. But it's only hard when you're not allowing yourself to consider it. So consider rest and relaxation. Consider having more fun and rejuvenation right now as you're building a foundation, because there needs to be that recoup. There needs to be that rehabilitation from the pain and the situations that you're in previously that were so draining and taken from you. Because right now, I would say the calm before the storm is that you have to allow yourself to get prepared, to get ready, to rest up. Because once things start moving in your life, as they will in the next coming weeks, it's like a dam being bursted open, which to me really started on the 14th of this month. The dam kind of bursted open. And so we've been seeing kind of a lot of this, I would say, things that we were talking about in the previous weeks of cutting out relationships, and those things kind of come to manifestation now. And so now it's time to be prepared for the next change, the next paradigm. It's time. And so I know this sounds cliche too, guys, but you guys are the center of your own universe. What does that mean? Because, that could be a fine line. When we say these things about you're the center of your own universe, it's like, oh, is that selfish? Is it all about me? Well, when you understand what it means to tap into the soul and what the center of the universe really means, you understand you're here to expand your soul and to express your soul the way you intend to based on your own evolution, which means that if you're really tapping into the true essence of the soul, you're going to want to help the collective, or you're going to do things that really much in alignment to affecting and helping the collective in an expansive way. I don't want to say positive way because that becomes too judgmental about this negative and positive, but in an expansive way. And that means you're almost like you can see your energy become so infectious, it expands. It's like it spreads like wildfire. And so this is what we talk about by kind of living for the self and being the center of your universe, because then you start realizing that energy, that powerful energy and positive energy, you like to call it, is infectious. And that energy actually inspires others to expand as well, because it is the natural essence of the soul to expand. When we don't expand, we don't evolve, that's where pain manifests. So if you don't understand why you're in so much pain and why these relationships are painful, because you haven't grown out of it yet. And if you have these relationships still that you're still holding on to, and people just always ask, like, well, how do I let go of this? How do I let go of this relationship? And I would say the question is why you're holding on to it. And a lot of times people hold on to relationships because they don't know any better, or they don't know anything different. And so right now you have to start creating a newer foundation to tell yourself, this is what is new for me moving forward. If you've been in depriving relationships or depriving circumstances, you know that you want better. You know that you need better. So it's time to start setting up the parameters of such as saying, that's my next paradigm. This is where I'm going. So therefore, you can let go of those depriving situations, because now you have a new defined, identifiable future and a path and a direction. You'll hold on to it. And so that's very important for us to understand as we're allowing ourselves to be the center of our universe. You have to somehow go inward to expand outward. You can't go outward and then go inward. You have to come from the inward and express it outwardly. So this way, the things that you actually are in alignment to become obvious to you. It become very clear to you that, oh, these are the people that I want to be around. These are the individuals that match my energy. These are the creative expressions I want to dive into. This is the information I want to, look up or study. So those things become very naturally gravitating to you, and vice versa, because you're living from that essence of the self. And a lot of this is going to sound cliche. I'm not one for cliches in generalities, but we're going to go there because it's been so much of looking at things from the glass half empty, and especially with our culture and our society, it's all about how things are going so wrong. On the news, you got the news going, the person going, then you have the bottom scroll feed, how the things are getting worse, and it's everywhere about how things are falling apart. And people tend to think that they know it all, that like, oh, it's bad everywhere. It's like, no, it's bad everywhere that you're watching on the news. You have a bird's eye view, but it's time to start seeking things that don't have that bad everywhere mentality or narrative, and start seeking the beauty. the beauty is not going to present itself to you if you're not looking for it. It's time to start looking for the beauty of life, the beauty in things, the beauty in simplicity, right? Where are things actually going right now? No one's looking or talking about that. And so what happens is we become, in this resistant state because I don't like these things and I'm going to fight against these things in the culture and the war and internet and this person, that person, that we're just keeping the problem going. We're snowballing the problem because we're not allowing ourselves to say, hey, let's take a step back for a moment. Let's look at things that are going right and amplify that. No, everyone's just kind of pushing this big snowball down the hill. Because I don't like it, and I'm going to keep focusing on the things I don't like. It really bothers me, aggravates me, so I'm going to keep focusing on that and complain about it. And that's what people fall into unconsciously. Why? Because there's no sense of beauty around them. There's no support around us that says, I would say in our media or culture, that this is great. These things are going well in our life. These are things you could do, that the beautiful moments and miracles that are happening in our life every day. We're not told this. So you better make sure you're looking for it. Because if you're waiting for things to present itself to you, you'll never find it. Not in this culture. And we're evolved to a point now in our species that it's time that we start doing. We're in an action-based reality. And so many people ask me about manifestation. I'm just like, it's very simple, guys. It's not overly mystifying manifestation. When you take action, things manifest. If you stir a pot, you make food, you put ingredients together, you manifest food. Is that so complicated? But this idea of manifestation that just thoughts become things is so much bullshit. It's keeping everyone stuck because nothing's changing right now. And that's why, because I'm just going to think about it, I'll complain about it, and that'll do my job. I'll just keep blogging about it and complaining and fighting people on blogs. Yeah, that's doing my job. It's doing absolutely nothing. You're contributing to the downfall of our society and the downfall of culture. Get off the keyboard warrior mentality. Get off the fact that things are just going to come out of nowhere and start making yourself be the warrior in reality to where you're making it happen. You're taking the actions and steps necessary to do it, and you're behaving it. Because action doesn't just mean you're pounding the pavements. Action also means that you're behaving differently. You're stopping the chatter. You're stopping the gaslighting online, which I see many people doing, even in the spiritual communities. You're stopping the gaslighting. You're stopping the mission of how to be right. You're stopping on the mission of trying to prove everybody wrong because you think that you're right. You're letting go of all of that. You're allowing yourself to find beautiful aspects of life that you can put on a pedestal. Remind people of the beauties of life. That's what we need to be doing. So not even just for ourselves, but for other people. Somewhere along the line, we have to stop the momentum of this negativity, of chaos. Somewhere we got to stop that. When is that going to happen? The next time you go online to fight against and leave a negative comment to somebody, next time you're online fighting against the politics, next time you're online anti-Trump, anti-Kamala, all these bullshit people in our society that mean absolutely zero when it comes to progression of society. Next time you think about that, why don't you ask yourself, are you contributing to that snowball effect, or are you actually being a beacon of light and change for that the next time you're commenting on things? Because having a voice and standing up for yourself and using your voice, it doesn't necessarily mean you're doing anything. You got to ask yourself, what voice are you using? Are you continuing the separation, right? So it's yes, and I love that Chris said that needing to be right is getting old. It's so old because everyone has such a subjective perspective in life that what does right really mean? And you don't have the right to tell me who God is. You don't get the right to tell me what spirituality is. No one has co-signed and patented God. No one put a patent on God. No one put a patent on the universe. No one put a patent on spirituality. So you can live your life the way you want to live your life, and I will live my life the way I want to live my life. Let people be so you can focus on your own evolution, which in turn will help the collective because you're contributing. But I see many people just contributing to nonsense, more bickering, more being right, and more, trying to prove a point. Everyone's a armchair therapist. Everyone's an armchair lawyer at these days and age, an armchair, health physician. And it's like, focus on healing the self and focus on expanding the self. That's what this week is about. And I'm saying this too because there will be a lot of opposition. You guys might see a lot of opposition the next week as well. You might find a lot of opposition. So I think that when you look at these opposition, take a step back and ask you, are you contributing to the beauty of things and the progression of things? Or are you just lighting the fire to whatever exists and the same old what exists? That's important to understand, during this week. Okay. Let me turn down the AC because I'm a little hot right now. It's warm in here. Give me a moment here. Okay, I'll put on a sensible 71. How's that? So guys, focus on that now because it really is about setting a new standard for yourselves now. Break those patterns. right? You know, if you keep flicking the same thing on your screen and doing the same reactions, watching the same people who are just creating negativity, ask yourself, at what point are you going to stop doing that? At what point are you going to make a different choice? And this week is an important week to do that, because once the momentum picks up this week again, because we've been having the past, 3 or 4 seasons, stop and go. So we had to stop, and now we're having a go again. And so that go time, ask yourself, if you could imagine something, whatever you choose that you press play on, that will play out in your reality. Make sure you ask yourself, do I want this to play out if I press play in this modality, in this choice? Do I want that to play out? And ask yourself that question, and you'll probably make a different decision on what you're doing, what you're engaging and spending your time on. Okay, let me see if there's any more cards to pull before we wrap that up. What are you guys talking about here? 40 days of what? Yeah, Samantha here too says, cut off 3 friends. Expenses, cut off 3 friends of 10 years just this week. They aren't matching my energy and I can't keep up with the future version. So, okay, bye. I have important things to do. Bye, Felicia, right? And we say, bye, Felicia. And it's very true. I mean, I just cut off a friendship as well. And one prior to that, too, because it's just like, it's exhausting it's exhausting my ability to grow in my own right, because that was just holding back energetically. And you think like, oh, I don't want to lose that friend, or they have to come in the future, but they don't match your future. And so they got to go. So, okay. 40 days for life review. Yes, exactly. So 40 days for life review. If someone has crossed over, do not like the day after say, let me channel them. Please don't do that. Understand there needs to be respect for the person that has crossed over. They have to have their life review, but they also have to get acclimated. I say at least 40 days. Some spirits require 6 months to a year. There are different parameters. So, understand, don't be selfish with one's passing. If you literally just had a passing experience, would you want someone just channeling you right away and pulling your energy right away? Would you want that? That's not fair. So don't be selfish when it comes to channeling spirit. Understand that we need to give them time. Understand they got to acclimate, And I know no one's really saying that in the room, but I just want to say that for the record, state it for the record. Because I get a lot of people like, they passed on. They're supposed to come to me. It's like, dude, they just had a passing experience to transition. Like, that's a big deal. Give them space to recognize what's going on, and also give them time to step away and be detached from physical reality, especially when they have hard passings. There's a lot of people that are, why aren't they coming to me the day after they pass? They're not coming to me. They're not with me. And they said they would haunt me, and they're not there, so I don't believe it anymore. It's like, give it time, so a lot of people have been so distraught by that. But when you give it time, and also I would say your loved ones always nudge you, right? When they want you to communicate, or if you're not able to communicate or you're not picking up on the signs, a lot of times spirit will kind of nudge you in the direction like, go to that medium, or a medium will come, to light. And if you're thinking about it, then one gets presented, right? So spirit's got to nudge you when the right timing is, so. And I always say those are when spirit pushes you in it, that's when you'll have the best session. If you're trying to force a session, you probably have a bad session with the medium. And even if the medium's really good and specific, you'll be so off and disconnected because I'm waiting for that one thing to be said, so everything else gets thrown out the window. So let spirit nudge you, because it's always going to be the best session, especially when your loved one says, go through this person and they can represent me well, Yeah, exactly, Erica. It's always the day of, or shortly before they pass, or next day. It's like that little 24-hour period. Yeah, they'll come and visit you, and then boop, they're gone. Yeah, exactly. So the day of, or even shortly after the next day, they would do their kind of next check-ins before they reemerge back into the non-physical, and then they have their life view. So a lot of people, obviously, people always say, within the first month or so, they haven't felt them. I felt them, they died, but I don't feel them anymore. It's like, yeah, because they're in life review, and they're also just need a freaking break, So give them that break. Okay, so. And I guess the final card too is here is all about the. I like to have these 2 cards came out, and I'm just slipping them all over the place. What is the Wheel of Fortune card and the High Priestess card? Okay, so to me, the High Priestess card is someone with psychic abilities, but in this case, in a general circumstance or situation, the High Priestess card really represents your psychic and intuitive abilities. So right now, it's time to be very intuitive. Right now, it's time to feel things through. Understand the different dimensions of mind, and we're going to get into the aspects of self in a moment. We're leading there. The aspects of mind versus the intuitive self, because that's going to lead you into what you need to be doing with, as far as action-based stuff, mentally based stuff, spiritually based stuff. You'll be led to what you should be doing, how you should be attending to those things. Your soul might just be telling you, go to sleep, take some rest, take a week to just chill. And you might need that. And there might be a lot of inspiration coming in on it, do that. So, and the Wheel of Fortune, of course, is the new cycle. And so that's for all of us. So we're all collectively starting a new cycle, which is wonderful. So let's get ready for it. I mean, I'm ready for it. I mean, I've been preaching this for like the past 2 months, preparing for all this change, and we keep evolving. And so a lot of times the message could be repetitive because things don't change overnight, and the energy isn't up and down every day. It's always a cycle, and sometimes there's a recurring cycle. And so find what's beautiful in your world right now in this week. Look for things that are beautiful. Look for kind things that people are doing for each other instead of bickering. Look for the beauty of the world. Look for the beauty of even interactions with the animal species and just how life is. Try to look for that this week. And I would say try to be mindful about that every day of your life. And it's not going to be consistent. We're here to be in density and contrast, and that's fine. But make sure you're understanding that you have to balance out and rebalance when you need to. That you just don't stay in a lump of deprivation or a lump of that negative polarity and disempowered polarity. Okay, all right. Let's get into the topic. Oh, I like this comment too. Yes, I used to never breathe. I just hold my breath. Oh, yes, breathe. It's true. A lot. I also have to remind myself to breathe appropriately. Or sometimes I just hold things in, and so just because I'm thinking. So yeah, even being conscious of breath work keeps things flowing. It also gives oxygen to your brain. So even on the physical level, it's very helpful. But also keeps you you can actually control the vibration that you're in and how the flow is in your life. You can control it with just breath. So there's so many ways to easily do this. Okay, the aspects of self. Let's get into that. So I was going to start from the physical, inward. I'm actually going to start from the inward outward and go back to inward to describe the different aspects of self. Okay, the first major aspect of self, which is the core of who you are, it's the nucleus of who you are on the self level, is the soul. We have a soul. That soul has been through a lot of different incarnations. We call them past lives. So that soul has been around and has been through each incarnation expanding and expanding and expanding, because the point of the soul is to expand and to gain more power. And the more power we gain through our expansions and the lessons we've learned, we actually become more like a godlike energy, which we can then start creating worlds. And there's so much we can do with our creative powers. And so this is why we incarnate into physical reality, so we can actually allow the soul to expand. And that the soul is the true essence of you. That's where your true desires really come from. Not the physical desires from the physical brain, it's the soul desire. And so that means when the soul has a desire, it wants to express it so it can expand. So it's very important to us to really dive deep into our intuitive space and find what the soul is saying, the true depth of desire, because that was what needs to be expressed, and that's where you're going to find your joy, your happiness, because that's the happiness, as I always say, is a result of that we've grown or we expanded, that we've obtained that power. Happiness is not a goal, it's a result of that expansion. So it's that growth that we're seeking. That's why we are here. So always understand the soul is the core essence of who you are, okay? And so then people say, what's the difference between soul and spirit? Now, I'll say our soul has many versions of spirit to it, because each physical incarnation that we live, we generate a spirit version of ourselves. So when I die, the Scott Cruz persona, physical persona, will then generate a spirit version of that life that was lived that's still interactable by other spirits and other souls. And so we still hold on to that information. And so a lot of people ask when I'm being in a mediumship session, what if someone has reincarnated? How do you channel them? I said, well, the soul always moves on, but the soul has so many different variables of spirit attached to it that it can be interactable, because it's still part of the soul experience. We're multidimensional that way. So that's why as a medium, when I'm connecting with the spirit version of the soul, it's interactable based on the physical life that was lived. And also the information on how the soul has evolved can also be interpreted through that spirit version, depending on whoever is channeling the spirit version or connecting with that spirit version or keep that spirit version alive or active. And there's a lot of people who don't communicate with their loved ones who've passed on, and that the soul, that spirit version remains dormant. And so then people try to wake up the soul, the spirit version. And so then the spirit version is not so clear. And then once the spirit gets the power, then it's more clear and crisp and precise. So there's a reason why people say rest in peace, because they don't want a spirit to be restless. They don't want a spirit to be in a chaotic state. So we put it to rest. And so those who are channeling spirit need to understand what they're really doing and the message that the soul intends to rely to the spirit to help the individual in the physical life to resolve karma. I see a lot of times when I'm channeling spirit, that spirit wants to help those still in the physical to resolve their karma that they may have created with them. And so the soul is actually aligned to that, because the soul has to still expand and resolve that karma too, which will help future incarnations, if that makes sense. Because as we're evolving, the soul is in each different lifetime. That's the next part I'm going to say, is the karmic self. We carry karma from each incarnation. And so every experience that we live, if we have unresolved karma in one incarnation, we'll carry that on into the next incarnation and the next incarnation until we evolve and grow from those lessons. We call them lessons in the physical sense. I call them perspectives. And so the more we broaden our perspective on things, we become at peace with it. So when we learn these lessons karmically, then we actually is what creates our, I would say, evolution, or even withholds our evolution, keeps or prevents us from growing. So that karmic energy can be still left in the spirit version attached to the soul. When the soul is trying to evolve, there might be a dream that soul is having in the previous incarnation, and it actually goes into that previous incarnation to resolve karma because someone's either channeling a spirit version of them. This is what I believe happens a lot of times in dreams. When we dream something, that we're in a different period, a different place, and something occurs, I think that's also the soul resolving a lot of, I would say, unresolved karma from another incarnation, because it might be interacting with another soul at that time, so it's very multidimensional that way. So we have to understand the karmic version of ourselves. What is the karma that we're carrying? What is that memory that we're still holding on to from previous incarnations, either positive or negative? Because karma could be either positive or negative, in a sense that karma could be unresolved lessons, unresolved lessons. And so those unresolved lessons could be very negative experiences in your life. Or maybe in a previous incarnation, you've done wonderful things. You've nurtured so many people. So then you carry that positive karma that you've expanded, that all of a sudden that next incarnation, you're getting nurtured by so many people and you're well loved by a lot of people. So when we understand what our karma is attached to this next aspect, is the physical self, because the physical self is our, I would say, our hub, for the current experience that we're in. So we have a physical brain. The physical brain, of course, part of the physical self, is one that processes and computes physical reality based on perspective from any past experience in this incarnation. Now, the karmic version of ourselves is interjected in our physical versions through our DNA. So our DNA holds all the information from our past lifetimes. So they say that, I think, like a terabyte of information can be embedded in just one little tiny strand of DNA, and so that's a lot of data, right? So I believe that we hold all our previous incarnations, skill sets, talents, unresolved karma in our DNA, which is in this physical body. So whatever's relevant for our current expression, experience, that karmic, information will be illuminated. And they will turn into manifestation of experience, turn to manifestation of desires or limitations of thoughts and beliefs and so forth. And so we understand that level of the karmic journey and how we're evolving through the lessons, then we can actually really understand how to heal other aspects of spirit attached to the soul. And then we actually can be more clear on what the soul is saying, what the soul is needing, because then we're seeing as a journey, not so much a journey of this life, but in all our lifetimes that we're just evolving the soul, we become more in tune, which leads me to my next aspect of self, which the intuitive self. Okay. Now, the intuitive self and the soul is kind of hand in hand to me, but the intuition is actually more of a physical expression of how to maneuver through the physical world. So that's kind of embedded in our physical bodies too, because of the soul expression and the spirit versions that we have attached to the soul, as well as the karmic version of self we have attached to ourselves. So all that creates a more of an intuitive, broader perspective if we illuminate it, which means is if we're not just focused through the physical brain, the physical perspective. And when I say physical perspective, I'm mainly talking about beliefs here and belief structures, because that's a physicality. And I say, fuck beliefs, because beliefs are limiting. Beliefs should be always changing. You should not be holding on to beliefs. Excuse me. Because beliefs are very narrow. They're a very narrow perspective on things. And depending on the calibration of the beliefs that you hold, you're still possessing a very narrow view of existence and of life, because those beliefs are just programmed about this current physical world. So you want to avoid beliefs as much as possible, or understand that you must change them like underwear. Okay, because in this physical world, it's all about perspective. And so your soul, your karmic self, the spirit selves that you have bring perspective, because you understand how the self has evolved. You can get that information, and so broadens your point of view. So that's where, again, it goes right back to the intuitive self being, well, then you start knowing, you start sensing similar energies around you through other people about your life trajectory, because your life trajectory is the soul, spirit, karmic, and physical incarnations combined creates a trajectory for you because of the lesson need to be learned for expansion. You become in tune to that. That's when you become very intuitive and psychic. You can predict things. You can look ahead and re-alter and change things because you've synced the soul, spirit, karmic, intuitive, and physical bodies together. So that's where the psychic awareness comes in. That's where you can also read other people. You can see beyond the barriers of physicality and 3D reality. You can actually start seeing things from a fifth dimensional perspective, which means you've broadened your view to see things like the God energy, which means that you have no judgment about things that are happening. You understand why things are happening. You don't start feeling bad because someone's suffering. You understand, well, that's karmic. They have a past life where you can read the energy. They probably did this in a past life, and now they're reaping those rewards in this current incarnation. So therefore, you are objective in understanding why things are the way they are, why they are connecting the way they're connecting. But you see, beliefs doesn't do that. Beliefs just filters things. Belief is a filtration system. So why the hell would you want to put any type of filtration system on your perspective? If you're trying to broaden perspective, beliefs just narrow it down and fragment it down and keep a very linear, narrow viewpoint of your own existence and existence in general. So fuck beliefs. You should get rid of your beliefs and always be checking on beliefs that you might have unconsciously. Now, we call them subconscious beliefs, unconscious beliefs. I like to call them default beliefs, because if we are living life unconsciously and kind of just living by default, where things happen to us, we don't look at it, we don't consciously be aware of what we're growing from and how we're growing from these situations, then what will happen is we'll just, boom, a little default belief will be programmed in our subconscious mind. It's just a default belief because you're not looking, you're not observing your circumstances. You might be in a gluttonous state that I just want to feel good. I just got to feel good. I need that relationship. I need it now. You're living life unconsciously. You're not living from the soul. And so this is why you have to be very, very aware and conscious of the life that you're living, so you could be conscious on creating belief if need be. My belief is I have no beliefs. I have perspective. I have experience, and I see things, and I just continuously want to see more. Okay. And so there's, I would say, default beliefs that we can create consciously. It could be like, hey, look, I believe I shouldn't be killing people. You could set the parameter. They should be very basic, like the 10 Commandments. Very basic should be the only beliefs that you possess. Everything else should be wide open. See, politics has been very, very contaminating, creating brain worms in people because of focusing on people's empathy and creating beliefs and charging people based off beliefs. So that's why politics is a very damaging aspect to our psyche, as well as culture right now. So all beliefs, stand up for what you believe, fight for what you believe. It's like, that's all wrong. Because usually 9 times out of 10, 99% of the times, when people are fighting against something, they become it. So what you fight against, you start becoming. So if you're unconscious to this, and I'm starting to see even with the political sides, they're both doing the same thing to each other. They're both calling each other stupid. They're both saying they're brain dead. They're both saying they're immoral. They're both saying that they're unethical. They're both saying they don't have empathy. They're both doing the same exact thing. So, you have to be very conscious of how you're behaving. So it's not about what you believe. You should be tossing those beliefs. I wouldn't fight for a belief. It's just an idea. It's just a thought. And the belief is created by continuously thinking something. If you continuously observing something, you just believe it. Like many people who have continuously bad relationships and cheating relationships, they just believe all men are cheaters. All women are cheaters. It's like, you only choose to see reality in that way. Why are you believing that to be a fundamental truth? See the trap there? So again, we need to understand all these different aspects of self so you get a big glimpse of why you're in this current experience, that you're not living by default, and thus, I would say carrying and inheriting all these nonsensical beliefs just because you didn't consciously observe what you've been going through. Okay? So a lot of people say, why are things happening to me? And why am I not psychic? And why am I not getting where I want? This is why. Right? So, and this leads me again to be repetitive about these manifestation communities. You know, I saw a skit today, which I thought was funny, where these two people, there's a couple that was, eating at a cafe, and they were eating soup, and so the guy didn't have a soup, and so I've had a spoon for a soup, and so the girl goes, well, just manifest a spoon. He goes, but I don't have a spoon. She's like, don't say that. Be appreciative you don't have a spoon. Believe it, you have a spoon. He's like, but I don't? She's like, it's not going to work now. And so it was all this mental lip. It's okay, I believe I have a spoon. I believe I have a spoon. I believe I have a spoon. And then, like, it never arrived. And she just said, well, you have to be thankful for not having a spoon. Then he started eating the soup with his hands, right? It's gotten so foolish that people just think, I thought something, there's power there. It's like, thought is the beginning. Thought is the creation to get things in motion, and to actually get things moving is through action. And you should be leading through action from the soul expression, which means you can feel a zest and a zeal inside you. You know when you're wanting something that's bad for you. We all do. And so, but if something is bad for you, you will know, oh, this is karmic. I have to go through this to let me learn it. You have a different perspective on it. Not blindly having experiences or blindly having relationships that are detrimental to your growth just because you want a freaking relationship. And you're not really having one because you're so blind to what you're supposed to learn and to grow into, right? Because you got to be the energy you want to experience. That is true. So it's time to really dive into those aspects of the soul. So a lot of people ask me, how do you tap into the soul? Well, first is look for it. If you ask yourself, because you have a soul, if you say, what's my soul? Then you'll understand, okay, you'll feel an energy. You'll feel a passion. You'll feel a sense of a morality too, in a sense, like a sense of right and wrong, what you should be doing or shouldn't be doing. You'll feel that sense in the soul, right? So we have to understand these different aspects, and your karmic perspective is very much in tune. If you want to look at your karma, I think a good gateway in the physical form that you're in now to really find the soul is to start looking at your karma. Start looking at your unresolved thirst. That's a great gateway to get to the soul. So many people don't find it fathomable in their minds to go to the soul directly. I say, well, just look at your karma then. Look at your repetitions in your life. Be conscious of what the shit is going on in your life. Be conscious of that, and be conscious of wanting to change it, to evolve from it. So many people love playing victim. They love saying, I'm a victim to the circumstance. It's like, okay, but I understand. And just FYI, I'm a victim of sexual abuse myself. I went through suicidal ideation. I went through conversion therapy. I went through agoraphobia. I had anxiety. I also went through ritualistic abuse and religious trauma syndrome is what I possessed too. I gotten over. So I went through a lot of that trauma, especially with the consistency with sexual abuse. So I don't want to hear from people defending and fighting for being a victim because of what they've been through. You're not supposed to sit in it. You can say, I was victimized, but it's up to you to determine what you're going to do with that victimization. Are you going to become empowered by that? Are you going to be a teacher of those who have been victimized themselves to overcome it? What are you going to do with it? Just sitting back and arguing that you've been victimized, and especially today, people be arguing for victimizations from previous generations that didn't experience. What good does that serve anybody? Doesn't. So start looking at the karmic patterns in your life. Start looking at the things that need to be changed, the things you need to evolve from. And guess what will happen? You'll start getting the glimpse of your soul. You'll start feeling what the soul expression is. Your intuition will open wide up, and you'll start seeing things a lot differently. You'll start seeing things from a more broader point of view, and then you'll start understanding everybody else's karmic path too. You'll start feeling that. You wouldn't be judgmental. And I would say the goal to all of this, and the how you've mastered this, and you won't have to be reincarnated in this physical world, is that you're objective and unaffected. That's how you know you're ready to ascend from planet Earth. Because no matter what you're looking at, you're objective and unaffected. I've reached levels of this in my life. It kind of scares me because I'm like, I should be bothered by that, but I'm not. But I understand why it's there, and I understand why it's all existing. But that's the point, because that's what freedom is. If you think of true freedom as you're objective and unaffected, nothing could persuade you into a certain way of thinking or feeling. You're just not affected by it. You get to dictate what you wish to feel and what you want to explore and experience, not circumstances. That's the gateway to mastery of this physical world. And do I have that down packed? I have a lot of that down packed. I'm objective and unaffected by a lot of things. There's still little things though I'm working on. It's a little stupid things I'm trying to iron out. The big things I'm like, oh yeah. Objective and unaffected. So when you guys think of this way, that's a true aspect of self. It's not about visualization, manifestation, beliefs. Get that out of your system. There's been an agenda and I don't want to say the what's extraterrestrial beings, there's an extraterrestrial agenda to harvest energy from those who are in these manifestation, dream it up reality type of movements. There's higher entities that you're energy harvesting those people. They're getting to believe that just focus on what you want, believe what you want, focus, imagine. Oh yeah, I'm believing. Write it down 5,000 times what you want. And so these people are just like putting out all that energy to this ideology, which is from an extraterrestrial group of beings that are just preying on that energy and sucking that energy. So you guys have to be aware of this. Okay? So action is the key to manifestation in this reality. Putting things into motion. And we came here to be physical so we can enjoy putting it into motion. Everyone's so freaking lazy. And so I love technology, but the fact that no one's remembering anything anymore, the fact that no one's actually going out and doing anything anymore, going out to see people anymore, is making people not provide any action and motion to this physical reality. That's the whole point of physical reality. So there's a good balance between the two because there's a lot that technology is going to bring to us in connection. We also have to understand about putting things into motion to action too. And that means behavior, how you're presenting yourself to the world, to yourself, all that stuff is what action really is. So I will not get into the group just at this moment. I'll do another topic on that in the future. So I'm not going to start a fire in a sense that I'm not going to have time to finish. So, but that is the aspects of self, guys. And that's how you really, really find your intuitive aspects. You know, your intuition becomes, I would say, broadened. And let me say this about manifestation, because it's the spiritual power we have. When you resolve karma, and especially if you resolve karma midlife, that's when you can manifest what you want. Only under those parameters, because you can focus on something, your perspective is broadened, you're just more psychic about how to maneuver around things that match your vibe. So I wouldn't call it manifestation. I would call it you just have a realization aspect of life. You can see things. You're more psychic now because you can go here, go there, make this choice. And so you can maneuver around the maze in a sense. You're not manifesting it. You're aligning with it. You're finding your way through this matrix, this soup of energy, this quantum field of energy that's just all of us just kind of mingling and bouncing off and to each other. So when you master your karma and you become more aware of self, you know how to maneuver around it. You can see through it. You can expand it more. See the little crevices instead of just seeing it as a mush of everything's going to shit. You know. Okay, so let's get to the live readings. Let's see if anyone has any questions in here. Yes, which group? I am not saying it. As I said, I'm keeping that for another time. We'll get into that topic. And I need to do more research and consort with my guides and my extraterrestrial interdimensional beings too, to make sure I can disclose that information. But I feel like I have to bring a light to that because I was shown that it was an agenda from interdimensional energy harvesters in that sense. So yeah, that's awesome, Chris. Well, again, you know, if we're talking from the soul, it all makes sense, right? The soul doesn't need to convince you of anything, right? If you need convincing of something, then most likely you're not in the right space for you at that moment. Things that make sense for you, that resonate, the soul just makes sense to you. It's the truth, right, for you. And so that's another part too. I'm going to say, make sure you're always seeking the truth no matter what, because people hold on to beliefs, say they don't find the truth because they're so attached to their beliefs because of ideologies and all this stuff. And I see people stuck because of that fact alone. You know. All right, let's go into the live readings now. Well, we are, Debbie, Darby, sorry, looked at Debbie. Darby, we are safe, right? We just have to be aware. We just have to be conscious. Like, when people, I did a show about angels and demons, I might revisit. And I have a wonderful connection with a brother who he teaches the occult, and his channel is Universal Mastery. Go look at him. I was talking today, maybe having him on, either my live or Leading Out Loud, because he's really great about explaining the aspects of spirits and demons and all that stuff, and so and very much aligned to my perspective, what I've learned. But I would say we don't have to be worried about danger. You need to be worrying about how you're exporting your energy. That's the most important thing. Okay, so if you're throwing energy out there, what's going to happen is you're going to get parasitic entities that are going to want to take it. So really, it's all about that. No energy is going to like possess you unless that parasitic energy is. If you've given up so much, that person's given up so much, the parasitic energy enters the body. It's like you know, if you look at possessions, they're not really kind of like intelligent. Like they're just like you know. So, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's evil either. When we have a virus in the body, we want to kill it, but the virus is just life trying to stay alive. And just trying to, you know, do its thing and to feed off the host. That's what there's a lot of parasitic entities like this too. So really think about that. Really try to understand, like, how am I throwing free energy out? Because if you go throw out free money in the street, there's people going to come up there and want to take it. No one's going to say, oh, you're throwing free money away. Oh, here, take it back. No one's going to do that, you know. So make sure you're understanding the energy you're throwing out. That leaves you open to those energy harvesters. Okay? And yes, and we're going to move on to the live readings now. And before I do, we have a wonderful message from Nina. This was extended, but I guess this is necessary. And here's a wonderful message from Nina. And I'll just get ready. I'm getting set up for the live readings.
What is up, Thursday crew? It is me, Nina. I'm excited to share this channel message and pull for y'all. So earlier when I was tapping in for the Thursday crew in the flesh, I just kept hearing, I'm looking at the man in the mirror, and I'm asking him to change his ways. And I got this energy like, it's time to look at the person in the mirror that you have become. All this work, this whole culmination of everything you've been working on, it's time to look in the mirror and ask yourself of the old ways and the old relationship and the old contracts and binds you've had with yourself, to have that courage, it's the courage card, to change your ways. Because I'm hearing this whole relationship stuff is about you changing your ways to you, and then it will resonate outward towards your outer relationships, right? And the next card that came up was consistency, which I think is the same card that came up last week. So in order, we have courage and consistency, and that Michael Jackson song about looking at the man in the mirror. And Hercules card came up this time too, that strength. There is a strength, and the sun came out too all of a sudden, to change your ways. Like, you can do this. You can look at things that you want to change.
Yes.
And do the damn thing. I'm just hearing also from Spirit that this determination, the determination from the ram, is essentially needed to get to your, and the sun's like really shining now, your independence with the black cat. All of this is about your independence, your power, your inner strength, and being able to change what you want to change within you, always with love and always with grace.
Yes, you heard it from Nita. Do the damn thing. All right, it's about damn time, right? So I love that. Yes, and looking within the self, the Hercules. We all have that Hercules. We have a Hercules and we have a little mouse in us. Which one do you want to be? Which role do you want to play? We all have the ability to play all that. And remember, whatever you feared in this lifetime, you didn't resolve in a previous lifetime. That's why it's a fear. So you want to conquer that and look within yourself to do so. And so get it on, get it going, girl. All right, let's get to these readings, and guys, get them in because I'll be closing them soon. So if, I have a lot of people sometimes that keep doing it like I'm about to close. Tara Matisse, you're asked me to pay you $20, so you didn't ask me to. Yeah, you're gonna have to redo that. So I'm gonna decline that because I'm not gonna pay you to read you. So make sure you're paying me to read you. Okay, so I'm gonna decline that. So try again, and I'm not going to pay you $20 to read you. Okay, so I just had to say it. Sounds funny that way. All right, first is Stephanie Panaharara. I'll do the ordering right now. We have first Stephanie, then we'll go into Noelle, then we'll go into Rashida, and then Sydney Aaron right after, and then Tara if she gets it in, and I'm going to look at my PayPal in a moment. I didn't look at the PayPal. So that's the ordering, guys, okay? I think next time I'll actually put the order on the screen, but that's going to take me some friggin' work to type it up, so I don't know. I'll just list it. So maybe Nina, if you can possibly do that, put, readings and put number 1 is Stephanie, number 2 is Noelle, number 3 is Rashida, and number 4 is Sydney at the moment, and I'll get in as far as the order, and then I'll get into the rest in the ordering because there's a couple PayPals are in, so okay. Okay. All right. Well, Stephanie Penahara. Okay. I'm trying to think if I want to read this in the reversal or not. That's what I'm trying to need guidance from my guides. I guess they're saying to relax and that you're taking a chill, but I feel like the anxiety is gone away for you. You know? And I feel that you, or maybe were anxious, but you're feeling that now, maybe not so much anxiousness, but excitement right now. And so go with that excitement, because in the Four of Pentacles, it's really like kind of holding on, right? There's wealth behind it, but like just holding on. Like don't really don't go so far outside the box right now. Prevent your mind from going all over here if things are still kind of maybe arranging themselves in your current situation with work. Don't start saying, well, I gotta do more of this. No, keep it in, hold on, right? There's money to be made here, because there's always the Four of Pentacles, all about kind of wealth in that sense. And, you know, making money in that sense too. So just hold on a little bit. And with the four, it's interesting, like the Four of Wands in reverse and the Six of Swords in reverse too, because this is all about like kind of like going out there in a sense. So I'm contradicting myself, right? Like don't go outside the box, but go out there. So what I'm saying is bringing the balance. Like go out and do what you need to be doing for what you know your work is for, and think of ideas within the realm of what you're doing, but don't go far outside the box thinking you have to do something else than what you know you should be doing. And a lot of times people think, well, I've been doing that. It's like, well, the consistency is what's key. You know, the consistency is what you need for things to keep going. So many people don't understand like consistently doing something is what renders a result. They think I have to keep doing something differently. Like, no, keep doing what you're doing and just be consistent and be, you know, active in that way and bring light to that way. You know, and the Death Reverse is like it's almost like a mild shift too, mild transformation. So there might be like a little detour, you know, a little kind of shifts in another direction. Like you might, if you have two options, maybe one needs to kind of like take more of a direction than the other one and kind of like transform it into one aspect more of, which maybe with more investments instead at this moment. And this is interesting because like I feel like, you know, there's another chapter of love coming sometime next year too. So I feel that's also going to be happening sometime in 2025. You know, an unexpected relationship. You know, and it feels like one that you need. You know, it could be casual at first, and so I feel like you'll need that moving forward. So yeah, don't think so far out of the box right now, but just like be active doing and being consistent with what you know you should be doing now. That's it. And find excitement to that, because even the Four of Swords in reversed is really kind of coming out of your essence, but so it's more emotional. Like just have fun with what you're doing. Stop overthinking it. You know, and stop saying, oh, what else I got to do? What else I got to do to get there? Like, you all need to stop trying to get places and just be present with it. When we hear be present all the time, it sounds so freaking cliche. People don't know what that means. Oh, just don't think. I'm just focused on what I want now. It's like, no, focus on being present means that you're engaging with what you're doing now. And so if you're a lot of times you guys are engaging with things, but your mind is so many other places than what you're engaging in, that's not being present. That's being scattered. And you should take moments of time to say, okay, let me resolve the past here. I'm doing that consciously. Or moments in time, you say, okay, let me just like look at the future, the direction I want to create for myself and where I'm going. And do I sense any blockages? Be conscious of when you're doing that. Stop being in the past, present, future, and present all at once unconsciously. You're going to be scattered, because then you're going to start saying to yourself, what do I got to do next? What am I missing? Well, I'm not missing, because you're just scattered, you know? So that's a message for everybody in the room, because I see a lot of people doing that, and it's not helpful. And there's nothing more. If you're not engaging with what is, it's where you're at now, and what you're engaging with now, it's what's growing and going to get you to where you want to be. So stop ignoring it, you know? Stop ignoring it. All right. Noel Way, ready to shoot some cards off the table? For Noel? Okay. Wow, I just heard something, Noel. I didn't really need a card for it. I just got a channeled thought. Let's see here. You guys like my background? I actually merged two pieces together. It didn't have moving clouds, and I just saw the moving water. I'm like, I need some moving clouds in this one, so I added the moving clouds in there, and the shooting stars, all for you guys. Okay, those shooting stars are for you guys. Wishing upon a star. All right. Well, I was expecting that to happen. Did my sound effects go? Where's my sound effects? Would it stop playing? We need that water back again. Sorry about that. Okay. All right, Noel. First thing is, this is about balance, right? So to me, I'm reading, it's like, you have two things you're going around: work and an idea of work, and an idea of work, and an idea of what you want to do. And they're saying that you really haven't fully recognized a title for what you need to be doing. And the title is, medical medium. I don't know if you're on a health journey with yourself or learning more about health, there's a reason for this, because it's not so much about like you need to like really focus on your health per se, but getting into the space of seeing sick people so you can be a medical medium because you're a channel, and really using your way to help people understand the issues within their own self. I'm finding now that doctors these days are not giving people the bigger picture. I've been seeing this for about a decade. It's pretty bad. And I know, as someone who is versed in nutrition and also medical medium myself, people are not getting the full picture. They're being wrongly diagnosed, or a lot of times, most people come to psychics when they get no answers from their doctor. They've exhausted everything. The doctor's not telling them what they need. And so they come to people like us who give it to them, and then they heal, and then they get better. And so with you, Noel, you got to start doing that. You have to start understanding you're called to be a medical medium. Okay, and helping those, because the reason why this came in, so I was sure with balance, and it came also with the High Priestess card, but also with the Death card. So to me, the Death is all about illness, right, and people who are sick, and helping people. That's the medical medium to me. Illness, psychic, medical medium. That's how you spell it in the tarot right there. So it's time to like really understand that title, Noel. And I think that once you understand that title, then like, oh, okay. Right? That's why I'm attracted to Joe Dispenza. Oh, I got it. So yeah, you have to remember your channel, but I think your channel, but the problem is I don't think you understood the way to use it. And that's the way you use it. So yes, that's right, Sydney. Go sis. Hey, go sis. So that's a good message. That was I heard that before the card came in. So I don't need the cards, especially those who are asking questions without cards. I don't need cards, but cards make it easier and more quicker. And so yes, let me give this now to Rashida. Check your Venmo, Rashida, as you know the protocol because you've done this before with me. And we'll get you on. There we go. We'll have you on for a live video. This we can change up the format. And then before we do that, we'll do Sydney Aaron. There's Sydney Aaron for question. I have an old injury that flared up. Any insight to share? Any info on time and to heal? Thank you, sweet brother. This is all emotional shit, Sydney. There's all emotional stuff resurfacing, and they're saying that you're trying to move too quick. You're trying to move too quick. You're not pacing yourself. Most of this is intellectually, mentally, right? So make sure you're pacing yourself. Stop like pushing, stop rushing. It's kind of what I was saying to my lovely Stephanie Panaharara, right, Stephanie? So we just kind of say that with my lovely Stephanie, was that, the same thing with you. You have to make sure you're not pushing too much or trying to move too quickly. You have to learn to be okay in a little bit of stagnant energy. But stagnant energy means just more peaceful. It's just more, there's nothing that has to happen right now. And so I think this flare-up is kind of representation when you push yourself too much, when you're moving too quickly, you would be unconscious to your body. And so this is what they're saying to be doing now. It's emotional. So I don't think this will ever be healed in a sense. Sometimes we have injuries that will always linger, but they only exasperate when we throw ourselves emotionally out of whack. And I flipped my car when I was, 20 years old. I rolled it 6 times and I had a couple injuries. And along the way, like I was able to, let it heal the way it needed to, but it's still not the perfect, back into perfect shape. But I know that my neck exasperates when I'm being a pain in the neck in a sense, but very figuratively, or when people are stressing me out, then it flares up, but when it doesn't, I understand how to move my body and myself so I don't put stress that way. It's a reminder. See these injuries as reminders. They're there for a reason, and why does this music keep changing? So if you work on this, you'll realize it kind of goes away again, I'm trying to use an example, on things that, sometimes things are just damaged, or some of the things that just hold that karmic memory physically, you know. So I definitely would be able to allow yourself to be able to, you know, try to kind of work on the karma that associates to that injury, and then you can like allow it to heal, and then you wouldn't have to keep recreating that either, you know. But, you know, there's certain things, like I said, if you were to cut your hand off, it's not like, oh, I got to heal so my hand grows back. It's not going to happen. So sometimes we have injuries that stay around, but we can heal it so it's not exasperated and move on with our lives, even though it will still be there in a sense. So I would start there, Sydney, with the emotional. All right, Rashida, you in the room? I sent you that link. Call on in when you're ready, Mrs. Rashida. I did try a needling this week. Oh my god, what is needling? What is that? Are you talking about like with the wheel, needle wheel or something? You talking about that? Okay, so we'll wait for Rashida. Still waiting on you, my love. Call in. Next, Sarah Cheney, or just say Sarah. Rashida, where you at? Just want to stay a little connected and checking in. It's been intense, but I'm finding more tools to deal with everything. Let me just do a quick check-in, a little checkup right now. Sarah, like a doctor physician checkup. All right, you're in the phase of, well, I can't believe that, you know, you're in the, I can't believe this. I can't believe they would do this or not do this. You're in that can't believe state, okay? It's okay to be in that state of like, I can't believe they would do this, or I can't believe they would still not do this way. Well, I can't believe they're not, da, 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 da. So you're in that phase of I can't believe it. That's like the believe it or not. But that's okay, because I think right now you're redefining, you know, aspects of things that were okay for you or maybe passable before, and you're saying it's not passable now. I can't believe someone. It's not, and I don't want you to say I can't believe this person would or would not do this. I would say, you know, I can't believe that I was okay with that. I can't believe that, you know, I haven't allowed myself to get more. That's all. And when you say that, it's not so much the focus on a person, whether the person can do something or not, because everyone has a different modality, you know, of change and so forth, and where they're at. So with you, I think it's like, it's good that you're saying, I can't believe they wouldn't do this, but all at the same time, it's saying, well, I can't believe I've allowed myself to be so limiting of myself. I can't believe I've allowed myself for that to be okay. Or I can't believe I allowed myself to say that was just enough, right? That will change a lot in this period. So that's a check-in, but understand what you're feeling right now is part of the process. But just make sure you don't stay stuck in that loop. You know, understand, yeah, I do know I deserve better. I deserve more. And surprised I kind of settled for less, you know. Isn't that like a settle for less? Oh, no, I'm thinking dress for less. Is that pay less or something? Or no, Ross dress for less. I was thinking that's that commercial. So don't dress for less. You want to get what you want, right? No discounts. You don't want to discount anything. All right, I'm sorry I'm looking down. I'm trying to fix my headphones here because we're going to have Rashida on for a call here. Because she's in the room, and hopefully that makes sense. Oh my gosh, these freaking, look at this. And I do this because I don't want there to be echo when they come on. So my Virgo right now is going crazy with these headphones. My Virgo's like, God damn it, will it be fucking un momento, this is a live show, so these little technical things happen every now and then, but I think it's time to get new headphones. For monitor headphones. I don't like to wear those big old cans on here. Like, you know, they just look stupid. So these are just good. Okay. I'm coming to you, Rashida. I'm coming, and I'm coming. Oh, wow, that water's loud. Let's get her on here. Rashida!
Hi.
How are you doing?
I'm good. My Virgo was freaking out trying to get that link.
Yes, it's stupid.
I'm doing it.
Is this water too loud now? I don't know if that water ever was it so loud?
You know what's funny? I didn't even hear it until I literally turned my head like this, and then you brought it up.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, that was weird.
Okay, good. Because I'm like, because these people have like been drowning in water the whole time. Okay.
Yeah, no.
Okay, so what do you?
I just hear crickets. Sorry.
Okay, interesting. All right, cool. Well, if you had headphones on, you'll be swimming in water. So I like to put the ambiance now on my show. So, so what's your question? What do you want me to read? right now.
Okay. So, so I have a friend who I don't want this to be because I know how how much mediumship readings can be as far as the energy required to do it. But I just want to ask about my friend who passed. I was in high school. I was a junior, yeah, in high school, and so that was 93. And so I'm just, I've been thinking a lot about it recently. I've been thinking a lot about it ever since it happened. But I just want to know, like, was that a wrapped up case? Has it been solved? I actually wanted to call the police station, but just to inquire about it. But
It's still open. No, it's still open. Yeah, that was never resolved. It feels like it's still open. And they kind of just like, and I feel like the family and those who worked on the case, they kind of knew it would be unresolved. They tried, but it's really, they were able to find the killers, or able to find those who were involved in a sense. So, and especially back in that time, they're telling me the town itself was just not so organized or prepared even back then at that time. So I think there was a lot of reasons why they missed a lot of evidence, a lot of circumstantial evidence too, that could have guided them to solve this. And so it feels left open to me, but I do feel the family became at peace about it.
right.
It's like sometimes people know, like, say if there's like a random hit and run, it's like, the chances are like you're not going to find the person, like, but then you still try anyways. You know what I mean? So it feels like the family and those who were involved knew, like, it's going to be very difficult, but they just wanted to push anyways. But I do feel a peace and closure energetically with it. But the case feels like it was left open, or or just didn't resolve in that sense.
Okay, I didn't want to do this or ask the question, kind of. I actually did want to ask the question, but I didn't. So, so I'm going to ask anyway.
Do
All
it.
right, squad, let's do this. Let's see, Scott Cruz, mediumship detective. Um, so can you tell me anything about what happened? I just want to be able to tie some details together because I know what happened, but as far as
It's fun.
like,
It feels like a hit and run to me, though, in a sense. Like, it feels like someone did it and ran. It feels that way to me. I see a group of people around. I don't know how clear this is going to be because this is so long ago. And of course, the spirit of this person is not so communicative. So I'm doing the best I can. The symbols. So I'm getting vibrations like the hit and run, right? And so that means, but I feel like, what I'm sensing is like, it feels outside to me. So it started outside. It didn't start inside. It started outside. And I'm seeing like a surrounding of people around your friend. So there was like a group of people. And so, I don't know if they knew the person or if it was, it feels unrelated. Like, it feels like that's what the hit and run energy is like. It's random person that doesn't know the person, hits and then runs, right? So this feels like it was not like friends that did this or people that they knew. It feels very like people who cheated, they didn't know, in a sense. So, and it started outside. I just see a group of people surrounding your friend. And that's the best I could pick up on that. And it feels like a group of four, like a four or five, but like four people around her. One person was kind of like observing or something, or maybe on the lookout, and it feels like a robbery and then a murder. It feels like that. I heard beating, so I don't know if they beat her a little bit or beat, it feels like a lot of that to me.
so okay. So when you say it's a group of four, you mean as far as the perpetrators?
Yes, it's like a great gang of people. Yeah. Yeah. So, and they start like surrounding them, and to me, it's like it's almost like either they beat her, or it just feels like a robbery, beating, and then a killing, and it feels gang related, actually, to be honest with you.
Can I fill in some gaps?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. And some confirmations too. But
okay.
So basically, it's a he.
I know. That's why I kept saying she. I kept saying she. I kept like not wanting to say that. I know. That's why I kept not saying that. Yeah, I was questionable about that. But
Right.
go ahead. I'm sorry.
So basically, he invited me out. It was his graduation night, high school graduation night. He invited me out. I was so afraid my mom was going to say no. So I just said no, that I couldn't go. And so it was him. And to my knowledge, there were two other friends of his that went out after the graduation. He was like this big old nerd and like a computer geek. He looked literally, I'll send you the picture. He looked like John Candy, I swear.
Okay.
And he even dressed like an older dude, older man or whatever. And so these guys, I think they were driving, but they came up and they started, with the gang bullshit. And of course, yes. And of course, he was not affiliated in any kind of way. And so for some reason, they basically shot. They started shooting. And to my knowledge, he was the only one that got hit. And I don't
See,
know if he died on.
you see, I was getting the hit and run energy. You know what I'm
Yes,
saying? Very much that
totally.
way because like it was unrelated and didn't know, just like, and then just fled. He didn't die at the scene. He died in the hospital.
Okay.
So it's like they still had him. His heart was still beating, and when they got him to the hospital, he died either that night or the following morning at the hospital. So yeah, it seemed like he died in care, and so they might have. I think they may have had him on ICU or something. He took 2 shots. I feel like actually, not just one. I feel 2 shots. I feel chest and head 2 shots actually. So. One could be a stray, but I feel like there's 2 shots, not 1.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know a lot of details about it at all.
But I'm just saying because I feel through like the heart and through the back of the head. I feel 2. The back of the head was when I kind of like brushed his head in a sense, so it was more the chest for me. And also the loss of blood at the same time is also the combination of that, of his passing too. But his spirit's at peace, but no one's interacting with his spirit though. So that's why I couldn't really get so much of his, because I kept saying she, but then I'm like, then I get a he, but then I get a she. And so the gender kept flip-flopping to me because I felt a very soft energy from him too. And I don't mean to be, stereotypical cliche like that, though, because it's soft, it's a female energy. That's why I kept like, I'm not really feeling this, but this is more my psychic vibe toning into this. I'm not really getting much from his spirit. The spirit feels at rest. Because no one's channeling him. And so it's fortunate. No one's really keeping him present.
Yeah, I've kind of felt that. I actually, because I've been trying to do some channeling recently. And it's funny because I actually did ask my guides about his passing. And what I got was that he wasn't ready to go into his physical passing. But
because he's not, his soul doesn't want to because the spirit's asleep,
right.
So yeah, it's just like I think it's just too much effort to get to relive it's not so much doesn't want to, doesn't want to relive it because it's not necessary. And if the spirit is asleep and the soul can move on, that means there's a resolution that he's evolved from it. There's no like unresolved karma from that. It's like, okay, he resolved it, now his soul has moved on. So the spirit doesn't necessarily have to be active or alive, or awake in that sense. Like we were saying, the spirit version, it doesn't have to be. So that's why it's like the soul that has no interest in reliving any of that.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Anything else before we kind of close? That's very interesting. I love playing psychic detective. I mean, I've actually have helped a couple people in personal sessions either find a killer or give information to give to police. And I always get scared of that because it's a big responsibility. But like I know that I trust my intuition and spirit. So I always say maybe in my 50s and 60s I'll work in crime. They still do psychics on the, they keep it on the down low, when police use psychics because they don't want to put that in the media. But they definitely do. They used to use psychic spies back in the day, so in the CIA. So, I mean, so yeah. So I appreciate you coming on. And any question about you really quick before we hop off?
Yeah, just actually regarding just a message maybe for my guides regarding the channeling. I
Yeah,
just want to know that I'm going down the right path.
yeah, just saying, keep doing the channeling, but like do it with more about information, not so much about people at the moment. So
Right.
do it with ideas, like channel your guides, channel some ancestry, like do that stuff. And even if you get weird languages, like I've gotten languages down and like the language actually meant truth teller. I was like channeling one time, and like that was when I started changing more into like my approach in that way, shifting my ideas. And it's like my guides had me write down this. What is this language? I just typed it out, and it was a language in Latin. It said truth teller. I'm like, wow, that was crazy. So yeah, start with your guides because that could be more consistent and more helpful because it can help guide you and show you how to put symbology together and how to really understand that, to teach you how to understand the channel to paper process. So yeah, start with them and ancestral guides. And you'll get names from them. Yeah, that would be best. And it's more secured, it's more personal, and it'd be more consistent for you.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're finally doing this, girl. I've been saying this for a long time. I love it.
It's been a lot of fun. And I've just been like literally since the day I started, I've been excited like every single time.
Because you're supposed to do it. Because you're supposed to be doing it. That's the excitement. That's your soul saying, yeah, I need to be going this direction. So good. I'm glad. I'm very happy that you're doing that. You'll just be going through like notebooks like crazy, I'll tell you. Yeah, I go through notebooks like toilet paper sometimes. Like, oh, I need another book. I need another book. But yeah, that's the only downside, But that's awesome. So they're saying start with the ancestral guides and your guides so they'll actually be able to like really help you to understand the process of such. So teach and experience at the same time.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Good to see you, my love.
You too.
I always appreciate you.
I really appreciate you reading regarding my friend. To be very honest, I would not trust. Who would I trust? I don't trust anyone.
You trust you. You trusted you, and that's all that matters. And so when you
as well.
I appreciate that. But when you trust yourself, you find the right people to help you. I would say don't put trust in people. Don't do it that way. Put trust in self. Trust your decision. Then you'll meet the people that align with that same energy, and you wouldn't have to worry about trusting them. They'll just be just like you in the same element. So
yeah, no doubt. Like I wasn't even gonna bring it up to you, to be very honest, until this morning. I try to go with my intuition regarding when I should even do something like this, even. And so I was just driving into work, and it said, "Today's the day. Do it. Do it."
But spiritually,
okay, we gotta do it.
But spiritually, your guides are trying to help you you almost spiritually were kind of watching me channel the soul, right? So I was channeling the information, right? And getting the information. So what you were doing is spiritually, not the physical brain, your soul brain was like watching my process. So you can learn from that and observe from it. So that's why. Has nothing to do about your friend. Has all to do about you're seeing how I'm channeling the information. Your soul was, not your brain, but your soul was. So you're getting downloads on that. So it was more about the experience, less about the circumstance on it. Okay. If that makes sense. I know it sounds cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, but actually it's really what happened though. So
I love Cocoa Puffs, so
me too. I do too. I have organic ones with better ingredients that I love. Yeah, I love Cocoa Puffs. That's why I say it all the time. All right, my love. It's good to see you. Blessings. Happy full moon in Aries, Hunter moon. So go out there and conquer it, my love. You're doing it.
Thank you so much. All right, hon. Continue to grow.
I appreciate you. You too. All of us.
Yes, for sure. Okay. Bye.
Bye, my love. Bye. Who doesn't love Rashida? Right? Who doesn't love Rashida? She's amazing. Great energy. And I was just reading too. Yeah, James Porterfield. I did respond because last time we ended, the live ended after the sound bath, the sound bathing. And so I did email you the response back, and I also responded to your Venmo. So James, check your Venmo account and look at the comments of the last card pull that you sent. I sent it there, and I also emailed you at your email address. So check your inboxes, James. What's going on, man? You should be expecting things to come through. Expect some like money coming through. I'm kidding. Okay, next up, Tara Matisse. Or Tara M, sorry. My guys keep saying abundance is coming in. Is there? What do they mean by this? Any insight on this? I don't know if that's your guides and that's what they're saying particularly. Oh, well, maybe they are saying money's coming in. Okay. Okay. Let's just get over the abundance word, okay? I hate when people say, oh, abundance is flowing in. Please, can we stop this abundance crap? Abundance is too vague. Abundance is everywhere. So you have an abundance of air, there's abundance of grass, abundance of, trees, abundance of... So we got to specify. So if you're saying there's some sort of money's coming in or a financial spurt, say that. And so your guides would never be so vague about abundance, but I think that your law of attraction manifestation crap has warped your channel from your guides. So let's just say when we say financial abundance, let's say an increase in income, and do it that way, or an abundance of love, or abundance of friends, or whatever. The word is so vague. I hate that term. But I do feel like there's going to be some generosity or some sort of money's coming through. And it feels like it might be an unexpected legal matter that goes in your favor. I've seen this a lot, actually, quite a few times this year. I'm actually in one myself. And someone said the same thing to me, a reader, a year ago. It's like, oh, you're going to have like a legal thing and money in your favor. I'm like, what? What are you talking about? And then I'm in a lawsuit, which is, of course, in my favor. And so just waiting on that to complete. So I feel that in nature. So I feel something in that way works in your favor. The Two of Cups is really kind of all about like partnerships and so forth. So it might involve obviously involves another party. And the Three of Cups is like a celebration too. So yeah, there might be some sort of legality that might seem like doom and gloom, but actually isn't. It actually works in your favor. And so yeah, that's what I'm sensing with that. So yeah, that lawsuit, whatever legal matter this is going to go in your favor. And I don't know if there's 3 people that are connected to it in your favor, that works for you in that sense. So yeah, and this is always my legal card too. This Six of Pentacles is kind of my legal card of generosity, but it's also giving money as well. So yeah. What'd you say here? Well, that's what we were waiting on a lawsuit to set. Yeah, okay, it will in your favor. So, and it'll be actually what you want. Or along the lines of what you're wanting. So there you go. Fantastico. Okay, let's move on. Okay, next is Angie. Am I in order here? Oh, sorry. Brandy Ains. I'm not gonna say the whole last name. Brandy Ains. Okay. My girlfriend and I recently broke up. I know there's been a lot of breakups, Brandy. And we are currently not in contact. Is this a permanent breakup or time to move on? Let me see. Let me read the energy on both of them. This relationship is toxic to me, for lack of better terminology. And I do not mean to laugh. I'm just laughing at myself because of the words I'm choosing, not so much the circumstance. I respect and appreciate your circumstance because all these circumstances are important. But I don't want to use the word toxic, but I feel like there is a level of toxicity between this dynamic that will never kind of resolve or will never quite connect. And so the dynamic itself seems inconsistent. And I do feel like that your former partner feels split mentally. I don't know. I don't want to use terms like bipolar, but I'm still throwing it out there by saying that. But I'm trying to give energy of what I'm sensing without. I don't want to use that heavy of a term. But they seem emotionally erratic in a sense and unbalanced. The Devil card fell out when I was talking about this. This is really about impulsive energy, impulsive action. This is also my addiction card. So not that I'm saying there's any addiction there, but her energy seems very, very impulsive. Kind of doesn't think before acting, and doesn't ponder things before acting. And so I think there will be a comeback. Like there might be a reconnection at some point, and it might take some time before that happens. But I would advise for you to look at the circumstance and know that you deserve better than this. You can repeat it to learn that. You can go back and repeat the kind of back and forth, up and down energy if you'd like to, or you can say to yourself, "I'm not repeating this. I deserve better. I need more consistency in my life." You can do that, or you can say to yourself, "I'm not disposable." And so, and I'm not assuming she broke up with you, or I'm just sensing that there's a disposable energy there, to a certain degree. And she does this quite frequently with other people in her life as well. And so you have to understand you shouldn't fit in those parameters of being disposable. And so, and we can expand that terminology to fit the situations of maybe she's always, this is how I feel, and that's it. I don't care what she's feeling. So that could be very disposable too. So could be a spiritual awakening for you. So I'm actually doing a read with and without the cards to confirm. So I feel like this is more for you to wake up spiritually to what you need and what you want in your relationships. As simple as that. Let's not overcomplicate this or overly mystify this. It is about you understanding what you need next. And you know, I feel like this is if you look at this picture, to me, this is the essence of that relationship. There's good things happening, but there's more for you that you're not paying attention to because you're like, oh, this is good, I like this, but you're not recognizing or giving attention to what more your soul is saying that you need that's going to be beneficial to you so you can grow. And so it's time to look out of that for a moment. And this way you can really seek out situations that really match you to where you're not always kind of being controlled by someone else's emotions in a sense, you know, so. Okay. Thank you for this comment, Rashida. Hope that makes sense for you, Brandy. Thank you for that, Rashida. I love that. You're so sweet. You're a sweet, sweet soul, and that is why I love you. You're fantastic. I'm so delighted to be a part of your channeling journey too, and I'm so excited to see how it's going to unfold for you. I love that. You're so creative. You got such great creative energy. Okay, the next up is for Angie Ra. I'm not gonna say the full last name. I'm just saying Angie Ra. Okay. So I feel like I want to leave discretion on first and last name. So Angie Ra. And you say card pull, please. All right, my guides don't want to let go of this card, so we'll use this card. Okay. She's coming out. I definitely feel that energy. Look at this. Okay, girl. All right, Angie. This is good. I heard this song and these cards reflect it. So, full card. New beginnings. New chapter. But you better look where you're leaping. Don't make sure you're just rushing into things. But new start, new beginnings. Make sure you're introspective in the process. That you're still looking at your surroundings. Just being very, very balanced in that regard. The Four of Swords, we got to get in a lot of other people too. This came up a lot. It's kind of getting out of your shell right now and kind of now there's an energy being rebuilt for you. I'll let you know which case it is. And also the Eight of Swords in reversal is also getting out of feeling trapped, right? Now the World card is saying you're coming out, right? You bring yourself to the world. Now this is all good. This is all the energy about what's surrounding you, right? New beginning, new energy coming out into your own essence, own expression. And I heard a new work opportunity or new opportunity for a work idea or business idea will be coming to you soon. And so I think that will be a new chapter as well in business work in that sense. So that could happen anywhere between now and March. So I'm kind of the psychic timing on that is quite has a wide variable, but in a sense it's only a few months, right? So I feel like that's where that new kind of work business opportunity manifests and unfolds for you. So so that's great. So kind of really allow yourself to be spunky, be in the state of, of just letting go, not caring about how people see you. And so, yeah, this is really good. So the reason why the time frame, the psychic timing is between now and February, or let's say February, March, and that time, it's just more February, March. It's kind of cusp of February, March, is because you're still not letting yourself let go. You're still can I be happy just for the sake of being happy? It's well, yeah, why not? Right, can you be miserable for the sake of being miserable? Most of you guys stay miserable for the sake of being miserable. So you could choose the other. And so please do. So allow yourself right now to really be understanding about an excitement that can allow us this excitement to come through. So there's that new change, new possibility ahead. So that's good. I'm sure I'm going to start seeing a lot of these reads too because of where we're at collectively. So that's great, Angie. All right, we have two more, Andy Joe, and then let me check my PayPal as well. Let's go to the PayPal first because I think the PayPal one was the first before this last one here. Un momento, my lovelies. I got to log in here. Okay. Can you guys hear the water at all? Okay, we have Samantha Rid. Samantha Rid. We'll just say that because I'm not saying the full thing. To my guys having messaged me, thank you for sharing your beautiful messages. I don't like generalities. I'm going by it because it's like it's just a general question is general, but okay, I'll do it. I like specific questions or for situations like this, but I'll do it. But just understand a general question use general, But Mrs. Samantha, I'm sensing. I hate when I feel like a new love and I feel like there's an old love. So I feel like a shift in love. And with the strength card, that's a Leo energy for me. So there might be a Leo energy that comes in love, or someone might decide to commit if you're in a relationship. I can't read if you're in one or out of one. I'm getting both energies. I feel like you're in one, then I feel like you're not in one. So either if you're not in one, you need to clear out the past relationship that might be lingering. If you are in one, that will increase and they will become more committed or more loyal. That would expand. And if you're not in one, there's a new relationship coming around who's a Leo coming in. So I just heard a new chapter or expansion in the love arena. So like I said, usually I get like, oh, she's single, but I'm like, I can't tell if you're single or not. Like I'm not reading this because sometimes there's a past energy that's lingering around people. A lot of times that past energy reads as if it's still there. So please get rid of a past energy. I would say that's a definite if I'm getting both energies. Get rid of any type of past energy. And as I said before, if there is a relationship right now, they will start to commit or want to commit or become more taking things a step further. And if you're not, then someone is right around the corner for you as well. And I feel like you met this person in October. Well, it's October. Okay. So maybe it's soon. I don't know why they say October. We're in October. So keep the month of October as a significance. Good. There you go. Thank you. So yes. So Samantha, get rid of the past energy from past lover because someone's coming in and looks like to be a Leo. That simplifies. Because I'm reading both energies. I'm like, is she single? Is she with somebody? I'm getting both energies. And so that means, okay, that you're single. Thank you. Then you have a past relationship that's been brewing energetically that just makes you clearing that out subconsciously and allowing yourself to be open because I feel like love is going to be knocking right around the corner. And either it's a Leo or someone who really wants to commit. That's the Leo card for me. Okay. So that's good. So next chapter is love. Okay. Clear out that past shit though. God, it was contaminating my view, my read. Now, if I had you on the phone or a Zoom session, that'd be different. I'd be a lot clearer, but it was such a far, I just see a text, so. So that's happy. Yeah, exactly. Get it, girl. Get it, and I'll give you a time frame too. A lot of people say, what's the time frame? I would say between now and 4 to 5 months. Okay. I'm being very generous on the time too. It could be sooner, but between now and 4 to 5 months. I'll say this. Thank God. I mean, I'm seeing some and look at this Knight of Wands comes for you too, actually, Samantha. That's a messenger. That's someone coming, rushing in, a charming man coming in. So I like that. Or charming person, man, woman, whatever. Just a charming individual coming in with a mission. So that's good. It's about time. It's about time you courted, And I like seeing these, sometimes I get sick of the reads. People are like, oh, we got to keep setting the change. But I'm starting to see more reads becoming, things are happening in people's favors now. So that's nice and also good for me. That I'm not so bearer of bad news or bearer of, having to mentor all the time, even though I love mentoring. But sometimes it's nice to be a bearer of great news. And I'm seeing more and more of that lately. So a lot of you guys have been doing the work. So that's good. A lot of you guys have really been doing the work. Not just a new chapter, Samantha. It's focused around love. Okay? Okay. We have Melanie right now is next. This is an emotional read for you, Melanie. Why do I want to... they want me to use both the cards and stuff, too. I mean... excuse me. Okay. I don't know if you're going through some sort of loss or you're stuck in loss. I'm definitely sensing a sadness around you. You might have been schlepping this sadness around for quite a long time. And that's also what I felt that initially sadness around you or carrying sadness, and this is the loss card. So you might be still holding on to loss or just recently went through a loss. There's loss energy that needs to be cleared up. The Tower card, everyone gets so scared of this card, but I love the Tower card because it all means like you're breaking things down now, like emotionally. So it's time to break down those older things, get rid of the loss. The one thing that stands out to me in the Tower card is not so much that people are falling to their death, but there's the lightning bolt that's all about enlightenment, right? And a lot of times we got to kill the past version of ourselves, right? We got to let the older version die. And that older version, you know, it just means it's like a butterfly emerging from a cocoon. Like the cocoon is like, you know, sheds away and the butterfly emerges. And that's your Tower moment right now. You have to stop feeling like everyone's trying to take from you. You got to stop feeling like there's, you know, always someone out to get you. There's someone that's going to like, you know, take advantage of you. Just get out of that mindset. There's people out there like that. It's just you want to be able to identify, well, those are people that take advantage and these are people that don't. And be more conscious of that. I too, and this is, again, I keep getting this energy in cards with people's reads, and this is great. You got the Fool card as well. I mean, we've seen this come up 3 times tonight. And so this is all about new beginnings, but like being, again, looking where you're walking, making sure you're checking out the people that are around you. And the Page of Cups, to me, that's all about a new relationship, a new messenger, a new proposition, right? Maybe someone coming in, proposing something to you, or like a date, or someone taking a relationship to another level. It could be a friendship as well, but I just feel like there's a messenger coming for you in a positive sense to bring in good news, right? So there's a positive change on the other side of this Tower card moment, but they're saying right now, like, oh, everything's in the dark. Like right now, oh, I feel like everything's hit. I don't know where things are going. I feel like I feel stuck and blinded, but like I feel suspended. Life isn't moving. I'm saying it's not moving because you're just not. You're like this. I'm holding on to where I want to be, and I'm still holding on to where I don't want to be. So I'm like, I'm trying to move forward, but like I still need to hold on to my past and the sadness. But I'm sad. But I want to go forward. Oh, but I'm sad. This is what you're doing, and so there's not going to be any movement on that. You know, so get yourself into a sense of community. 3 of Pentacles is all about sense of community. Get yourself out into a group of community of people that are like-minded and people who are also, excited to be, doing things in their life. It's time for that change. And I'm not saying you're walking around like crying all the time. That you just have an internal sadness that hasn't been resolved. That's all. I'm not saying you're walking around mopey dopey, but a lot of us are happy in our lives that we have this underlying sadness to us because of a loss that's been unresolved. And they're saying that's what you want to make sure you attend to because there is that new beginning that's coming soon and want you to be prepared for it and ready for it. And don't miss on that opportunity. All right? So that's what you need to hear. Por favor. Well, you asked por favor, I'm saying. Just repeating it. Okay, last but certainly not least, did I answer all this already? Let me see. I think it's Andy Joe. Yes, okay, I did. Last but certainly not least is Andy Joe. I'm curious to know what psychic abilities I have in the 3D and in the astral. Any insight to what abilities may be coming online in the physical soon? And how I can best activate these gifts. I need new earphones. Let me know. I got you. Oh, okay. No, I have, Andy, thank you for that. But I have, good headphones, like for work and stuff. It's just for, I bought these like just cheapy, low profile monitors, the headphones that I just need to get rid of. I just go on Amazon, buy a pair that doesn't tangle that way. So I appreciate that. Okay, psychic abilities that you have. Well, there's only one thing is psychic ability, right? But we have to understand the difference of clairs, so everyone can I would say learn from this too. Is that we have different clairs. Like we have a clairvoyance, clairaudience, claircognizance, and clairsentience. Clairvoyance is a visual aspect. You can see things. You're very visual in your approach to your abilities. Claircognizance is like you just kind of know things. This is a wheel, by the way, of aspects of psychic ability. So somebody just know things, and that's kind of a lot of people start with claircognizance or sometimes clairsentience. You feel things. I feel like this is going to happen, and then of course clairaudience is being audible. You hear things. So we have the ability to have all of those, and that wheel will spin. Sometimes you'll be more clairvoyant dominant, and that wheel will spin. Right now, they're saying you're clairvoyant, clairsentient, dominant. So the primary would be clairvoyance. So you're visual, but that also is in conjunction to your secondary, which is clairsentient. So I would kind of like really look at what you're seeing and also feeling and use that in conjunction. And then, of course, when you kind of master more of that understanding, then the wheel will turn. All of a sudden, you realize claircognizance is coming in and clairaudience. So, but right now, the wheel, the top of the wheel is the clairvoyance and clairsentience. So you feel things, you see things, try to connect the dots on the two to expand that. So psychic ability is actually 3D. Okay? I would say if we can broaden perspective to read the non-physical data, that's still 3D. you know. And so we're all, oh good, here's a response here. So I want you to understand about your clairsentient, clairvoyance. That's your dominant sensory with your psychic awareness, okay? You said, guides that connect to me tell me I'm active in the astral, but I cannot connect in dream time vision. You don't need to. No, you don't need to remind your dreams, because what we're doing in the astral plane anyways is either resolving karma from what we've learned in this physical lifetime, or we're rearranging our trajectories in this lifetime. So when we learn something, we'll go in our astral, when we're asleep in the astral plane, we'll rearrange things, right? So that's when we're sleeping. Now, in your waking state, you know, if you're tapping too much into the astral, that only means is that you know your channel's open, but you're not doing anything about it. So for me, the astral space is like I talk to my guides, I talk to spirit, I'm channeling spirit, but being psychic is not so much in the astral plane. Being psychic is actually utilizing your perceptives in 3D. So you can use your guidance in the astral plane to feed information to what you're interpreting as guides, but understand psychic ability is completely in 3D and 5D. The astral plane is beyond that, okay? And so right now, you might want to redirect right now what you're utilizing the astral space for. I don't know your guides. What do you mean? I don't understand the question. Do I know which guide connects with you the most? How would I know that? My psychic ability doesn't tell me which guides you connect with. I don't know the name of your guides, and I don't know how you associate with a specific guide the most. And I'm not a big believer in that. Actually, that guides have names. That's just not what I don't practice that. That's not how I practice. Guides to me is what you need to understand about your spirit guides is they have not been in this incarnation, and you have ancestral guides. And a lot of times there might be one or two that you associate with that you're just not conscious of. So I would not necessarily try to narrow it down to a specific guide and narrow it down to your perspective. People get so lost in that too much that they don't get the data. So I would focus on why are you in the astral plane in the physical state, and what are you doing to get information? How are you utilizing information being fed to you? Because your astral perspective can also give you points of view about your own soul experience, and I would utilize your astral perspective to get insight into your own being instead of wondering who's connecting with you. Like, to me, that's not productive. Because we are gods in this reality. Guides are just trying to help the guide and remind you things. They're not creating your life for you. They're not rearranging your trajectory. You are. So I would stop focusing on so much on the guides and ask yourself, if I'm in a channeling state, what am I doing in it? Right? If I'm in a channeling state, what do I want to create with that? So I need you to be more productive with that. But understanding you are clairvoyant and clairsentient dominant when it comes to your psychic ability in this world. So start trying to utilize it in the physical sense. Understand, we can go to any space, just like we can go into any room in the physical world. If you enter a room and just stand there, why would you do that? If you're just in the astral place, just standing there, why would you do that? So the message your guides are telling me is to do something productive with it, and except just being in the astral space for no reason. It's like when people meditate, just meditate without any intention. What is the meditation doing? It's maybe calming themselves down, but they got themselves in the state, and they do nothing with it. They think just the fact that meditation is doing something, and so that's, to me, it's not productive. So when I say even with meditation, go in meditation, say, okay, I'm now at the astral plane. Now I want to talk to this guide specifically, or I want to learn about my ancestry. I want to look at my karmic paths, or I want to, tap into a loved one who's crossed over that's in spirit. You have to direct. If you're waiting for someone to come along and guide you, it's not going to happen. I promise you this. Unless you're ready to establish that connection, then you might meet a guide midway. Most of the time, your guides be like, oh, you got to learn for yourself. And trust me, I've learned that the hard way by when I was relying on them too much in sessions and channeling, that one session, the first session when they wanted me to learn, it took the training wheels off, they disappeared in a session. I'm like, what's going on? And then I realized, okay, I can channel without them. So that's what I want you to understand about all that, but that's what your abilities are. So ask yourself, if you can channel, what do you want to channel? How do you want to utilize that? You have to be creative in how you will take the astral information and how you want to make it tangible in 3D. Then you have direction. Right now it's just open. You're just like, I've opened it. I'm in this space. Who's with me? It's like, and most spirit doesn't hover in the astral plane either. So yeah, so most spirits is like, they're just, some spirit will meet us in the astral plane, but they don't always stay in the astral plane, so So yeah, I mean, this is wonderful for you to do. I think it's good to know, Andy, that your channel is open. It's good to know that, right? So, and the great thing I feel about you right now is your channel is clean. So I don't feel distortion. Your channel feels very clean to me too. So that's good. So that means you're good at like maybe blocking things out, but let's now do something with it and get a flow with it, because the whole point of being astral and physical is so we can actually bring it from above and put it down below, right? And so that's really what I want you to practice, and then you'll understand all this. So use your clairvoyance and your clairsentience to guide you of what your soul's saying, how you want to utilize that, and then you'll be rocking it out, you know? So yeah, clean channel. Good for you. I love that. Okay. And thanks for the compliment about my outfit. Thank you about that. You know, you could douse a lot, but you know, honestly, I would remove yourself from the tools right now. Take the tool away now. Like I said about my guides, take it away. It's just a yes or no. I want you to sit down. Like we were talking about Rashida, Andy, start doing this. Start writing. Dowsing is like yes, no, maybe, right? Get out of that crap and stop trying to talk to spirit, because you'll end up just giving a spirit energy that you don't want to give spirit energy to, and you're not really being productive. Do channeled writing, and I want you to have the intent to channel information from your soul, okay? And I want you to focus on there. What does my soul need to tell me, right? And I want you to don't upgrade to automatic writing. I'm glad you mentioned that, because I need you to do that. Automatic writing, get into that. You want to channel information from your soul, get it out so you can see it tangibly and physically and learn more about you, not so much about guides. Remember, you want to learn more about yourselves, guys. You don't need to learn more about your guides. They're always there. They're going to help you whether you know them or not. They have contracts. They're trying to guide you so you can learn more about yourself. So the focus will be learning more about you. The guides and etc. will be, you know, presented in time whenever you need it. All right. Do it, man, Andy. Yes, come on, another channeled writer up in here. I love seeing that. Start that journey, and Rashida, you know, if she's still in the chat, you know, it's a fun journey. It's a wonderful journey, and I would say you'll be less limited with the automatic writing. You get more to get out and more to channel. So, yeah, understand that, and you won't limit yourself. You'll be awesome moving forward. Okay, and I think we're done, and now we have a wonderful treat. Let me make sure I did answer everybody. I did. All right, you all been wonderful. We have a wonderful treat, about 5 minutes of a sound bathing with Lafayette. So let's enjoy that, and I'll be back, and I'll be back with the closing. I'm stumbling on my words. So let's kind of wind things down with a wonderful sound bathing. It's 4 minutes. Stick with us. I'll be right back after this. I was sleeping. I'm kidding. I wasn't sleeping, but I was out of it. Anyways, that was beautiful. It was great. Get a little wind down with some vibes. So I appreciate every single one of you guys for coming tonight. And this is about, I think, 8 or 9 months. Let me see. I'm actually curious of how long I've been doing YouTube because I never wanted to do YouTube. I was resisting it, and my spirit guide saying, "Go on YouTube, join YouTube, join YouTube." Like, I don't want to be a YouTuber. I was crying, kicking, and screaming about doing YouTube and social media. I'm like, you know, but I'm like, I got to do something new with my work. It's been, 12 years, and I need something new. And so it's been a year actually. I'm looking at my first live stream. It was 1 year ago. And so here I am. So I'm going to say something that I hope I would never hear me say, but hit the like button and hit the subscribe button if you're not subscribed, and set up notifications when I post new content. The fact that I have to say that, makes me cringe. I'm Aquarius. That's why. Hit the like button or smash it. Whatever you do, let's get my channel expanded, and I do want to expand my channel because I want to expand my work. I don't consider myself to be a YouTuber. I consider myself saying I use YouTube to do my work. So hit the like button, subscribe. Gonna have to have someone else say it. Maybe I'll just get used to saying that at some point. This is the first time in 76 episodes that I've actually said hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. The first time I've said this. Okay, so I'm getting into it. I'm learning. And got to stop resisting it. But I do want to expand this channel, so tell your friends if they, people want to, have readings done next week and on a live, just something simple. I know people are very tight financially, so this is the main reason why I started doing live readings this way is because, I have my personal one-on-one sessions, which are more in depth, of course, more detailed and more interactive. But some people are struggling for money, and so I wanted to give people another option, another avenue, another resource. They can get like a reading done or a question done. If they just need a question, they can show up to my live and get it done. And so it's all about accessibility to me. So if anyone is interested in booking a one-on-one session, of course, experiencing the depths of a read with me one-on-one, I do offer phone sessions and, of course, Zoom sessions, offer life readings, and I also offer mediumship sessions to connect with someone who's crossed over, and I also offer a session, intuition builder, which is to help you develop your own intuitive and spiritual, intuitive, but psychic abilities and mediumship abilities as well, help you guide in how to expand that and get that going. So appreciate every single one of you guys. And if you haven't checked out this morning's Leading Out Loud show with Christopher Witecki and I, we went from 4 people down to 2, so it'd be him and I doing the show from now on. And we have a lot of great topics we want to dive into. We're going to change a couple things, and he's moved down here to Palm Springs, so he's building a studio. So we're actually might be doing live shows in his studio soon together, and that'd be kind of fun, and having like spiritual guests on, and a lot of great exciting things actually with that. So check us out on Leading Out Loud on Thursday mornings, and I don't know if it's going to stay on Thursday mornings anymore. It might change back to Mondays. Who knows? But we'll keep it posted. And so I appreciate every single one of you guys for trying to find out what do I want to end with. Do I want to end with a funny commercial, an advert, or my intro? What do I want to live with? I'll just end with a simple commercial tonight. Check out my YouTube and my Instagram as well, Scott Cruz Spirit, and I post updates and videos there as well, and content and all that great stuff. And scottcruzpm.com to book a live session with me. A one-on-one session. I'm tired with me. And catch me here every Thursday, 6 p.m. Pacific time, 9 p.m. Eastern time, and check the replays of past lives as well. And not next Thursday, but the last Thursday, Halloween, will be with Chris Reck, and I will be doing our normal tag team readings as well on Halloween. So join us then for that on the 31st. And remember, guys, you are all the gods and goddesses of your own myth. What do you want to create? Much love to you guys. Have a wonderful, beautiful evening. You are all beautiful souls, and thank you for coming by, and I'll see you soon. Good night.
Scott Cruz is popularly known for his life-changing one-on-one readings to also guide in your soul ascension journey. With life readings, get insight into your relationships, career, health, trauma healings, past life regressions, and more. Want to connect with a loved one who's transitioned? Scott's mediumship session can be the gateway to you and your loved ones in spirit, bridging the gap between the physical and the spiritual realm. If you want to enhance your own psychic ability, Scott's Intuition Builder session can help expand your psychic and mediumship abilities. So sign on to scottcruzpm.com to book your own personal session today.
Come alive, come alive, come alive.
Are you or your loved ones suffering from CRDR like this?
Even though I have absolutely no game plan, I'm going to be a multi-millionaire in the next 6 months just by visualizing. Because as all the YouTube videos say, I'm worth it.
Or like this?
Even though he's straight and he's gone to prison for gay bashing, I can see us together. Super cute. So I'm going to go up to him directly and I'm going to ask him out. Because I'm worth it.
Or how about like this?
Even though I'm 60 years old and have absolutely no rhythm and a butt as flat as a pancake, I'm visualizing my inner Kardashian coming out. So I'm quitting my job and I'm going to twerk my way to the top because I'm worth it.
Are you or your loved ones suffering from the creating reality despite reality syndrome? Well, hi. I'm Scott Cruz, psychic medium and mentor, and I'm here to help. Helping you to bring your actual thoughts into actual reality. Bringing the I am, the I'm into possibilities. Helping you to avoid decades of delusion, as well as making very fatal mistakes.
It's okay! I can alter gravity with my mind!
So visit scottcruzpm.com and find out what your possibilities are.
Hello, this is Donkey Trump, and together we can make manifestation great again.